The used car series continues, and today we're checking out cars under 100,000 rands. 100k used to be big money, but due to inflation and other factors, it is now extremely difficult to find a decent car for 100,000 rands or less. In order to put this video together, I visited a number of dealerships searching for cars under 100,000 rands, and I realized that most OEM dealers don't have used cars under 100k. Second-hand cars under 100k are mostly found at private dealers, and the mileage on the cars is quite high. For an average first-time car buyer, buying a high-mileage second-hand car is just an extreme sport, especially when the car is sold by a private dealer. A lot could go wrong. Welcome to another video. Before we check out the cars I found, let's first talk about duplicate cars and cut and joints as some of the scams you should look out for when buying a second-hand car. Car theft is a serious problem in South Africa. That's why some of you guys put useless tracking devices in your cars, hoping that your car will be recovered if you happen to be hijacked. And after you are hijacked, your car will either cross the border, be stripped for parts, and sometimes it's just sold in the used car market right here in South Africa. And that's how some people end up buying duplicate cars or clones. So basically, a clone is a car with a fake identity. Every car has a unique identification number, and it's called VIN. After you're hijacked, some thugs change the VIN of your car so that it won't appear as a stolen car through VIN check. I won't explain how they do it because I don't want people to learn funny tricks through my videos, but car cloning is real. In Kasi language, it's called kokota. So thugs steal your car, buy your kokota, and put a new VIN. Through VIN check, the car will appear as a legitimate car because the VIN you are searching doesn't belong to the car in question. It's somebody else's car. The stolen car is just an illegitimate twin. If you are found with such a car, it will be confiscated and no one will compensate you. It's a loss. You will just have to take your L and go home. So before you buy a used vehicle, try to make sure it's not stolen. You have to ensure the VIN on the car matches the one on the vehicle certificate. Also, try to check if the VIN on the car was not tampered with. Now let's check out some of the cars I found. We'll talk about cut and joints later in the video. So the cheapest car I found was going for 47,900, and it's a 2005 VW Polo 1.6 with a mileage of around 242,000 kilometers. The driver's side wing mirror is messed up, panels are falling apart, and the door panel on the passenger side ngathi kubhamuke airbag. The tire at the back is a Rapid something, in front there's a Voyager, the other side is a Windforce, Catchforce, what, while the other one is a Continental. This says a lot about the previous owner. From your own judgment, let me know whether you think this car is worth buying or not. I found another Polo going for 115,000 rands. I told them my budget is 100,000 rands or less, and they were willing to give me the car for 100k. Here the mileage is sitting at 180,000 kilometers, and the car looks fresh. I know some of you are already thinking, yeah, 180,000 kilometers is too much. Well, with 100,000 rands, you can't even get a low mileage Picanto. So don't be too ambitious and think you'll get a nice low mileage car for 100,000 rands or less, unless you'll be buying it at an auction or from your uncle. So I checked a similar Polo at a different dealer and found one going for 130,000 rands. They were only willing to drop the price down to 120,000 rands, and I was looking for a car that costs 100,000 rands or less. If you come with 100,000 rands cash and put it on the table, they will give you the car. There's no other way. But before you make the final decision, you have to test drive the car, find an expert to inspect it for you, and also make sure that the necessary documents are available, including service history. These old Polos are a good start when you are looking for a cheap second-hand car because they are generally cheaper to maintain. If you buy a used car, at some point something will go wrong, so you have to be financially prepared. Don't just buy a cheap car and forget about maintenance, because you can get a BMW for 100,000 rands or less, but maintenance might be a nightmare. Also, after buying a used car like this one, it's very important to make sure that you take it for service soon after buying it. You can't just buy a high mileage car and drive around like everything is normal. Preventive maintenance is very important. Here's another low maintenance car you can get if you're in the used market. This particular example is a 2008 model and was going for 85,000 rands. I also found a fresher 2013 model at We Buy Cars going for 59,900, but the mileage was a bit higher. I also found a nice 2010 Hyundai i20 with a mileage of 125,000 kilometers on the clock, going for 89,900. Out of all the cars we went through so far, this is the car I would consider buying with my own money. One of my boys bought a high mileage Hyundai i10 right here for less than 100,000 rands cash, and he never experienced any issues. Mr. Machila, please say hi to my people if you are watching this video. And guys, please note that this video is just a guide to help you find a nice cheap car. The cars you are seeing here are merely just for illustration purposes. There's a lot of decent used cars you can get for 100,000 rands or less, like your Toyota Corolla, Opel Corsa, Honda Jazz and more. But it is almost impossible for me to include all the cars in one video. I found a clean 2011 Honda Civic going for 109,900. You already know the drill, so I can't keep repeating the same thing. The budget is 100,000 rands on the dot. And that's exactly what you should pay here. Take the Civic and go home. It's that simple. Before I forget, let's talk about cut and joints. A cut and joint is basically a rebuilt car. The guys chop portions of different cars and weld them together to build a car. Some of the guys are so good, you can't really tell the car is a cut and joint if you're a first time buyer and you don't know what you're doing. You will somewhat just buy the car, which your driver one day motivate come game cuts in. Some cut and joints are too obvious, even a 5-year-old can tell that something is off. Then there's people who are just too ambitious like me and they would just go buy a 98,000 rands high mileage Mercedes. Here my friend, we're just pushing your luck and you must have another 90,000 rands set aside for maintenance. People make this mistake a lot because barata deal. Even if a car is 10 rands, don't buy it if you can't afford to maintain it. And in most cases, these cars are usually out of warranty and motor plan. So over and above the purchase price, you also have to budget for an extended warranty and maintenance plan, unless you are friends with a very good cheap mechanic. Some clowns usually say, yeah, no, I don't need warranty and motor plans. If something breaks, I'll just go to a scrapyard for parts. My man, there's things you will never find at a scrapyard and you will have no choice but to go to a Mercedes dealer. And you will cry tears after seeing the quotation. Just make sure you are covered for any breakdowns if you are serious about life. Also, why would you buy an 89,000 rands 2014 Mini Cooper with more than 200,000 kilometers on the clock as a first-time car buyer? At We Buy Cars, what are you trying to achieve? You know, us as young people, we sometimes create our own problems, but that's equal up. To take this exercise a step further, I will try to find various cars in the 100,000 rands price bracket that are owned by real people and then share their ownership experience with you guys. I don't like talking about things that never happened. Regarding the issue of finance, banks usually don't finance scraps or cars that are too old with no warranty and whatnot. So if you want to buy a 7-hand car that costs less than 100,000 rands, it's best to just buy it cash. And by cash, I don't mean a personal loan, because that's what most people do when they want to buy a cheap used car. Banks will charge you 25% interest on a 5-year personal loan for a car that might not even last 5 years. Nuts.